Jung described extroversion and introversion as attitudes, which things called functions can exist in. In other words, there are several different ways that a person can be extroverted or introverted, each called a function of personality. The functions are thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition, and when combined with the attitudes, make thinking in the extroverted attitude, or extroverted thinking, feeling in the introverted attitude, or introverted feeling, and so on. The four functions, thinking, feeling, sensation, and intuition, are divided into two main groups: the rational functions, thinking and feeling, and the irrational functions, sensation and intuition. Rational functions, or rationality, correspond with the Myers-Briggs concept of judging, or rather, the Myers-Briggs concept of judging is an extrapolation from the Jungian concept of rationality. Jung stated that the rational functions are characterized by the supremacy of the reasoning. Jung later defined reasoning as to conform thought, feeling, and action to objective values. In other words, rationality seeks to shape and conform thought and action to fit certain determined standards or principles. Such standards can be developed depending on objective outside data, extroverted rationality, or from subjective inner data, introverted rationality. Irrational functions, or irrationality, corresponds with the Myers-Briggs concept of perceiving. Jung stated that irrationality was not denoting something contrary to reason, but something beyond reason, something therefore not grounded on reason. Elementary facts come into this category. The fact, for example, that the Earth has a moon, that chlorine is an element, that water reaches its greatest density at 4 degrees centigrade, etc. In other words, irrationality does not seek to conform thought to any kind of standard, but simply wants to observe and experience the attributes of things. You are not reasoning when you observe something. You are simply receiving the data that comes from it and taking the object as it is. Rationality, however, does not take the object as it is, but compares what they know about it with set standards, renders a judgment upon it, and then seeks to conform their thoughts and actions concerning that object to meet those standards. Irrationality does not judge or conform or do anything active, it only perceives. In this way, rationality is aggressive in that it is doing something to thought, passing judgment and actively conforming, molding, and changing. Irrationality, however, is passive, or receptive and accepting of thought and information. By necessity, it does not interfere with the information, but wants to observe things in their natural state so it can get a more pure observation. So in review, rationality is aggressive and seeks to both judge and conform thought about an object to meet a set standard. Irrationality is passive or receptive and seeks to observe and understand objects. So did you get all that? Good. Now in the next two parts of Lesson 3, we'll talk about the types of functions, rational versus irrational.